just come back from watching Spider-Man No Way Home, and I have to say off the bat, it is one of the best MCU films out there. Listen, I've made it no secret that I'm an MCU hater. I like some films, but I think most of it's overrated, and I'm just not really interested in it. But Spider-Man, I can say, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, it's going to be a quick review. No spoilers, of course. Now, this film had a lot to live up to. I'm sorry, the trailers hyped it. All the rumors with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire and all the confirmed return villains. This film had a lot to do. And I must say, it didn't disappoint. It managed to juggle these villains so well without making it feel too bloated, because that was one of the main complaints with films like Spider-Man 3. It provided a lot of fan service, yes, but it also kept it relevant to the overall story. All of them make sense for them being there, and none of them really feel out of place. And despite so many characters, it still felt like a Spider-Man movie. This was Spider-Man. And one of the problems with the MCU is, because it is part of this cinematic universe and you have all these other characters, sometimes it can get a bit overwhelming. It can get a bit too large because you're always looking to reference someone or, introduce someone or cameo someone. But this one felt very much like a Spider-Man focused movie. Yeah, you had Doctor Strange in there, but it just makes so much sense given the story, given who Peter Parker is in general, and given the stuff he's actually currently going through. I've always said that this Tom Holland Spider-Man he feels at least Spider-Man than all the other ones we've got. But what I like about this film is it kind of just reminded me that he really is just a kid trying to do the right thing. And that's a main theme throughout this whole movie. It's just him trying to do the right thing, trying to do right by the people he needs to save, trying to do right by Aunt May and Happy, trying to do right by his friends. And because of that, the mess he gets himself in is realistic to his character. You're like, okay, fine, I understand. Even though I might turn around and be like, yo, fix yourself up, you're being stupid, it makes sense with his character, it's consistent. The story in this film is great, and when you get a film of this caliber, you can be a bit worried about how they're going to do this. Is it just for fan service? Are they just trying to do this to get people in the cinema? But everything happens for a reason, and the story was solid. And I like the fact that despite all these characters, it really focused on Peter and his moral dilemma with who he is, the problem he's in right now, and just what he wants. Another thing about his character is this Spider-Man's always had some form of help. I don't really like the connection he has with Tony Stark and how reliant all these Spider-Man movies have been on Tony Stark. This one, he gets himself into trouble and he figures out how to solve it. Remember, Spider-Man is smart. He's a very, very smart kid. So he finally got to use that intelligence to solve a problem, to get himself out of trouble, to help others. And I really feel that made his character grow up and make him feel less like a kid and more towards the Spider-Man we know, because he technically is the youngest incarnation of Spider-Man we've seen. Even though all of them were in some form of high school, whatever, he is the most kid-like in terms of his actions. But listen. Now I've got like the main stuff out of the way. Let me get a bit personal. Green Goblin. Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin is the funniest, the most menacing, and the coldest character there is in this film. I was cracking up at him. Like, Willem Dafoe does his job when it comes to Green Goblin. Like, just give him, everyone talks about, Iron Man is Tony Stark, Hugh Jackman is Logan Wolverine. Let Willem Dafoe just be Green Goblin. Even give him I can imagine him being as Joker, because he is just so good in this movie. He is serious. If you were a fan of him in the first Spider-Man film, you're gonna love him here. You're going to love him. He really staples himself here as Spider-Man's arch enemy. Remember, there's about 5 of them. You got Lizard, you got Sandman, you got Electro, you got Doc Ock, and you got Green Goblin. But Green Goblin stands out amongst them, and Doc Ock as well. There's actually one scene where Doc Ock is fighting, and they released the clip. It's in the trailer, and him and Spider-Man have a little altercation, and I'm seeing Doc Ock fight, and I'm like, this guy is powerful. And yeah, he had a good fight with Spider-Man 2, but because of, the CGI and the better technology with filmmaking they have now, the way they showed him fighting there, he was devastating, like on a different level. Whilst I'm watching, I had to look at my friend. I was like, yo, I didn't know Doc Ock was on this. Like, yo. And the same goes for Electro. He really gets like a big power boost in this, and he's much stronger than he was before. And he actually becomes quite a credible threat, if I'm honest. Given that, even though there were 5 villains, there's only 3 main ones they kind of focus on, and 2 of them are sidelined. The sideline ones are, Sandman and Lizard. They're not going to get as much shine, but that's to be expected because, there's 5 of them. I feel, in my opinion, it focuses on the better ones. But nah, this film goes through some serious tones. When they said they're going to make Peter suffer, they made him suffer. And you know, I like my darker film. I went stuff bad. You know, I like what he went through in this film. Of course, no film is perfect, and it's an MCU film, so it's definitely not going to be perfect. And there were certain things that I've always said about these films that I don't like. One of them is the humor. Now, bear in mind, right? I normally give Spider-Man a pass because Spider-Man's a funny character anyway with these quips and everything, but the MCU humor is just the MCU humor. It's placed in the wrong place where it can ruin the tension sometimes, and you know, it can make moments that have more dramatic and emotional effect just seem worthless and pointless because they inject a joke in there. Now, because it is Spider-Man, I do give it a bit more of a pass, but it's still very, very present. Also, they do the usual MCU, oh, this person's never done this before, but they pick it up and they get it first time. Now, my friend was telling me that in the cinema, and I was sitting there thinking, no, because they're only doing it because this happens. When now I'm looking back, I realize, oh, that's what they were doing. And I mean, if they stick with that, then it's gonna be not a problem, but it's quite annoying that the MCU like doing that, you know, giving these characters who are just normals some ability, or they can do something that is taking someone else years to practice or learn. It is ways. And yeah, like the typical MCU stuff, I don't like the shifts in tone. I don't like 1 minute it's all jokey and then next thing you know it's all serious. Then they cut that seriousness with a joke and the quips and stuff. But like I said, it's Spider-Man. I might give it a pass. I don't really want to see it. I thought this film would actually be darker than it was. It did get dark at times, but I thought maybe the overall tone would be a bit more darker. But I can't complain, it's Spider-Man. And I spoke about Willem Dafoe's acting, but I want to talk about Tom Holland's and and all that. I think everyone done their bit in this film in terms of acting. Tom Holland was great. I really liked MJ in this one. She was given a lot more to do, and I feel like she just done it so well. And I loved her relationship with Peter Parker. Their whole romance, I bought into it so much. Just felt like they were just two kids in love, and it was brilliant. Now, normally I like Ned. Ned is quite funny. And you know, I don't even like jokes in the MCU like that. But I tell you what, I weren't really feeling Ned in this film. I don't know. I feel like a lot of his jokes or a lot of his time was kind of forced. And I'm rather surprised because I did like Ned in the first and the second. But no, I want to keep this short and sweet. If I want to go into more in-depth detail, you know, it'll be another video. Spider-Man No Way Home is a top MCU film. I don't know if it beats Infinity War, but you know, it's kind of harsh to put up against Infinity War because Infinity War is Infinity War, and that's just Infinity War because Infinity War is just the best. But in terms of a solo hero MCU film, I really think this is probably the best. And yeah, I've seen it day one of release. I may go again. I probably will go again. No, I will go again. And I think you should go watch it as well. So if you've seen it, let me know what you thought. If you haven't seen it, let me know when you're gonna go watch it. Spider-Man No Way Home, sick film. It's been your boy Sly, and we out.